Okay, so I apparently got in a huge hurry yesterday. I had some things that I needed to get done. So you can see what we've got here. I've taken my miter saw cabinet and cut it up. I've sectioned it off. So what we're doing is I'm making this a solo stand. Later down the road, the version that I'm going to make of this is going to have some wings that come out about 4 inches or so, maybe 4.5, 5. They're going to have a drop down. It's going to have wings that fold up. I'm only going to go that far with that right now. It is going to contain an extra surprise other than what you see in most that have the wings. We'll get to that when we get there. Going to make a second cabinet out of this for right now. For the metal saw, I'm actually going to take this bottom one. We're going to cut a bottom for that, and we're going to put casters on it as well, along with the frame. I've redone the frame on this. I don't know how well you can see it. It has the casters. The old, hopefully you can see that. So I've run the 2x4s like this. They were like this. No structural strength in any cabinet, period, when you have 2x4s laying like this. I got in a huge hurry making that miter saw station, and I just slapped it together, knowing better in my mind. I knew better, but I slapped it together, said I'll do this for now. It was only a temporary fix, and it wound up being a very long time. So now we're doing it the right way. Gonna make a sturdy base. That way I don't have the bottom collapsing no matter how long I make it. Make it like a bank of cabinets, you're gonna do good. So anyway, we're gonna get to these others. Get to this one right now, up here, and we're going to make the cabinets separate. I will have to acquire casters for each one of them. This will roll on its own. I've got it locked down right now. Quite heavy. This makes it easier for me to pull the metal saw out, the miter saw station for the thickness planer. That's what that is. So we're going to have those all on separate stations. That way I get my welding table back and I can proceed to do what I need to do. And all of that fits right here. All right, we got those panels cut down. We are going to move to getting the pocket holes put in and get those on. There we go. get those attached to the cabinets. Get it close, it doesn't have to be exact. Lay this in here, get our level. Okay, so we're done with that. We can move on to making the bases for these cabinets for the casters to hook to. Okay, so we're going to get busy and cut down the pieces for the bottom frames on these boxes. Okay, I'm going to zip through here as quick as I can and drill these holes out. Okay, I'm not sure who all this may or may not help, but this is kind of my process here on this. The reason I'm blocking this in, you can see it gives me another place for a bolt to bite to. So I'm using 1-inch lag screws. Okay, coarse thread obviously, lag screws. And I'm coming in here, this is almost in the center of this board here for these two holes, right? Which puts me just right here, 1-inch depth, puts me just past this screw here, going in here, so I don't interfere with that one. So I mark out my holes. Let me do one more thing. I'm going to draw my line back here. Obviously that's fine, and I'm going to draw my line up here on this block to let me know. Screws out here to hold this is fine. Screws down in here, right in here, are fine because I'm between those, and then these screws can go in here. I'm actually going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and then I have 2 holes here already, which I guess I could, no, I'm not going to use those. I'm actually going to re-drill some new ones, and I'm going to drill that one over here because that's got a slight crack. Put that to the bottom. Pressure, it shouldn't separate because it's being pushed down on. Then I'll come back with the larger drill, I think it's 1/4 inch or a little above, and drill these out for the 1-inch lags, and they'll just go right down in there. Okay, that's going to take care of that. We can move on to the blocks and get those done. I'm going to jump over here on the second cabinet, get this done the same way, and we'll come back and we'll screw these things down and put the casters on here. Okay, I've got my drill, 9/30 seconds, I believe. Got the first ones marked out, so I'm going to go ahead and get busy with this one. This is a brad point bit, by the way. Make sure that I'm drilling plumb. I'm also using the 5/16 split washers for these to help create a little bit more tension once this goes in, and helps if I can not lose them, that'd be good. Helps hold it. That's going to get this cabinet done with the casters. We can lock the casters down. That way the cabinet doesn't try to roll away. And there's that one. Okay, welcome back everybody. Good morning. I am working on the drawers for the bottom of the other cabinet that we were on yesterday, that I put the 2 drawers into. I'm going to move to doing drawers on this later. But anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to work on those 2 drawers over there today. Get those done. We've got 16 and 1/8 of an inch, 16 and 1/4-ish. So I'm actually going to make the drawers 7 and 7/8 each. So that gives me an 1/8, 1/8 and 1/8 for spacing through there. A little bit more, give me some wiggle room. So anyway, we're going to move forward on that. We hope you guys enjoy the video. We are going to get these other drawers set in. I'm going to readjust these top drawers before I get started today. So I'm going to move in and start getting on that. Okay. Now that's right. So what I'm going to do is come in here. Now I'm going to put these in here and anchor that down to make sure they do not fall back down again. So we're going to take all of this out. That does have some grease on it, bearing grease, some type of grease or whatever. If you do wipe these down and clean them off, make sure that you put something back on them to grease these bearings. I wouldn't put WD-40. I wouldn't use a thin 3-in-1 oil. That's not a good idea. It's temporary fix. It's not long term. You want something that's going to be better for the friction. Okay. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and put the drawers back in here. Here we go. Maybe that will work. So I'm going to get on this side. I'm going to pull this out to the line. I am going to use my square, put that up here, and just with the thing again, and make sure that that's where I want it. So I'm going to put my first screw into here. Going to put this into place and move that out. Okay, so I'm going through and putting the second drawer guides in. Got them spaced out off the first drawer on the bottom. Okay, I lost the audio on my mic. So what I'm showing you here is I take a square and I mark the edge of that handle down on the next drawer. That gives me a reference point where I can put the handle up there, mark my holes, and actually drill those holes out. I have a guide that I also used for that, which I'm going to show you here in a second. And on this guide that I have in my hand right here, it has lines across the top where you can elevate the holes that I've got my thumbs on right there. You can match your handle up to those holes and get the right distance apart that you need to drill for the holes of your handles, whether they're through the cabinet or they're through the handle like I have here. So I'm showing you the lines here where you can adjust it. I think I bought this at Rockler quite a few years ago. A drawer handle jig. You can either make them or you can buy them. It's up to you. They're available pretty much almost everywhere in any woodworking store. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mark my hole on the drawer face. Actually here I am going to use the screws and just drill use the screws to go right into the face of the cabinet, the drawer front, and hold the handle. And there you have it. There's your handle for your drawer. Just like that. Now I'll tighten that other side up because I left it loose to make sure if I had any adjustments I could make those before I tightened it down. And I followed through and did the other drawer the same way. Okay everybody, that's pretty much going to wrap this up right here. The miter station repurpose. The big reason that I did this, in the pictures in the beginnings on the slideshow in the beginning of this video, there are those pictures. If you didn't pay much attention to them, if it matters to you, you can go back and look at those. The pictures will be there. Instead of having the framework like a regular box framework and having all the weight on the stiff side of the 2x4, I actually had those laid down flat. Anybody that's done this knows there's no rigidity in that at all. I knew it when I did it. I was pretty much doing that in a hurry. I did that to get that over here. When I built that, I was kind of in a one-car garage and was pushing it in and out of the way all the time. So I didn't have a lot of space height-wise. So I was trying to maximize that as much as I could. Anyway, it was a bad idea for me to do that. Like I said, I got in a hurry. It's what I had. I used the material I had. I patched it together. As you can see, this is just old CDX plywood. Nothing fancy, nothing nice. The nicest things about these are the 1/2-inch drawers that I've built out of the Russian birch plywood. So anyway, just note that if you're going to do this, do your subframes for your cabinets like you would any cabinets you would have in your house. Build your frame, set your cabinet on top of it, and go from there. So anyhow, we hope that you have enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them below. I'll get back to you as quick as I can on the questions and or comments. Let me know your opinion. Would you have tore it all down? Would you have left it the same? Would you have rebuilt the base and put it back up like it was? Or would you have done what I did? Anyway, let me know. Until next time, you guys take care. Have a good one. Be safe. Be kind to one another. We'll catch you next time.